Ever heard the one about the lawyer who thought he was smarter than the system? Well, today's story isn't a joke. It's a real-life legal drama that shows what happens when someone who's supposed to uphold the law decides to break it. Meet William Connor, an Indiana lawyer who was, for a time, a shining star in the legal community. He specialized in wrongful death and personal injury cases, earning a reputation for winning huge settlements for his clients' people who had lost loved ones in tragic accidents. He was the guy you wanted in your corner, a legal heavyweight who seemed unstoppable. His clients trusted him completely, handing over their futures and their financial security. But behind the polished courtroom persona and the multi-million-dollar settlements, a darker story was unfolding. Connor wasn't just a successful lawyer. He was a master manipulator, and his clients were unknowingly caught in his web. This isn't just a story about a lawyer gone bad. It's a cautionary tale about trust, betrayal, and the long arm of the law. So, what exactly did Connor do? Imagine this. You've just been through the most traumatic experience of your life. You've lost a family member, and after a grueling legal battle, you're finally awarded a settlement. It's not just money, it's a lifeline. It's supposed to cover medical bills, lost income, and provide for your family's future. You trust your lawyer, the one who fought for you, to handle these funds properly. For Connor's clients, this trust was their biggest mistake. Instead of setting up secure trust accounts as required by law, Connor did something audacious. Convinced his clients to invest their settlement money with him personally, promised them high returns, a steady stream of income that sounded too good to be true. And for a while it seemed to work. He'd pay them small amounts, what they thought were interest payments, lulling them into a false sense of security. But where was this money actually coming from? It wasn't from any legitimate investment. Connor was running a classic Ponzi scheme. He was using the money from new client settlements to pay off his older investors. Think of it like a house of cards. As long as he kept winning new cases and bringing in fresh money, he could keep the illusion going. He wasn't investing their money at all. He was spending it, and I mean really spending it. We're talking about a lavish lifestyle that would make your head spin. He bought a 36-acre estate, complete with a wine cellar and a home theater. He owned luxury cars, including a Rolls-Royce and a Bentley. He took extravagant trips and poured money into his daughter's fledgling music career. All of this was funded by the money that was supposed to be helping grieving families rebuild their lives. He was living a life of luxury on their pain and suffering. For years, Connor managed to keep all the plates spinning. He was charming, persuasive, and his clients, many of whom were not financially savvy, had no reason to doubt him. He was their hero, the lawyer who had gotten them justice. The payments, though small, kept coming, and that was enough to keep suspicion at bay. He had built an empire of deceit, a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme that preyed on the most vulnerable. But as with all Ponzi schemes, the math was destined to fail. The house of cards was getting shakier by the day. He needed bigger and bigger settlements, just to cover the payments he owed to his ever-growing list of investors. The pressure was mounting. He was juggling dozens of clients, dozens of lies, and a lifestyle that demanded a constant infusion of cash. It was a high-wire act with no safety net, and it was only a matter of time before he would fall. The first crack in the facade appeared in 2011. A former client, who was supposed to have over $1 million invested with Connor, started asking questions. The payments had become erratic, and her attempts to get a clear accounting of her funds were met with evasions and excuses. She finally did what Connor had been dreading for years. She filed a complaint. This single complaint was the loose thread that would unravel his entire scheme. The FBI got involved, and investigators began to peel back the layers of Connor's finances. What they found was staggering. It wasn't just one client, it was dozens. Over 25 clients had been defrauded, losing a combined total of nearly $7 million. The money wasn't in any investment account, it was gone, spent on Connor's opulent lifestyle. The successful lawyer, the champion of the people, was exposed as a common thief. When the case finally went to court, the full extent of the betrayal came to light. Connor's former clients, people who had once hailed him as a hero, took the stand to testify against him. They told heart-wrenching stories of how their trust had been shattered. They had lost not only their money, but also their faith in the justice system. These were people who had already endured unimaginable loss, only to be victimized a second time by the very person they had trusted to help them. The courtroom drama was intense. Connor, the master of the courtroom, was now on the other side, facing the consequences of his actions. His defense was weak. The evidence was overwhelming. The paper trail of bank records, the lavish spending, the testimony of his victims, it all pointed to one inescapable conclusion. The judge overseeing the case was U.S. District Judge Richard Young, and he was not impressed by Connor's attempts to minimize his crimes. Judge Young saw the scheme for what it was, a cold, calculated betrayal of trust. He pointed out the sheer audacity of Connor's actions, preying on clients at their most vulnerable moments. During sentencing, the judge made it clear that this was one of the most egregious cases of legal malpractice and fraud he had ever seen. He sentenced William Connor to 10 years in federal prison. It was a strong message. No one is above the law, not even a lawyer who thinks he can outsmart it. The man who once drove a Rolls-Royce was trading his luxury estate for a prison cell. But what about the victims? What about the nearly $7 million that was stolen? The court ordered Connor to pay full restitution, but the reality was grim. The money was gone. The cars, the estate, the lavish toys, they were sold off, but it was only a fraction of what was owed. For many of his victims, the financial loss was devastating and permanent. They would likely never see the bulk of their money again. Their stories serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of due diligence. Even when you're dealing with a professional you trust, it's crucial to ask questions, to demand transparency, and to understand exactly where your money is going. Never sign anything you don't fully understand, and always be wary of promises that seem too good to be true. The story of William Connor is a shocking fall from grace. A man who had the intelligence and skill to be a force for good chose instead to use his position for personal gain, destroying lives in the process. He didn't just steal money, stole futures, stole peace of mind from people who had already lost so much. But in the end, the system he thought he could manipulate held him accountable. The judge's sentence sent a clear signal to the legal community and the public. The abuse of trust will not be tolerated. It's a somber tale, but one that underscores the resilience of justice. The system may not be perfect, but it has a way of catching up to those who try to cheat it. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into true crime and justice. See you next time.